everyone. Welcome to today's Pet Pawcast. I'm your host, Dr. Roberta Westbrook, and you're with us at the Campus for All Animals, the Houston SPCA. And today, we're so excited because we are bringing you a little bit behind the scenes so that you can see an exciting project that we do every year to help save more kitten lives, and that is our 24-hour kitten nursery. So it's kitten season. And kitten season means that there are lots of baby kittens being born, and they need our help. Sometimes these kittens are found sick or injured or ill, and they're brought to us, and we have a wonderful, wonderful team who works to help get them healthy and to find them adoptive homes. But before I give you all of the information and let you see what we're doing here in this wonderful operation, I do want to introduce you to our pet of the week. Our pet of the week this week is Daisy. Daisy is a sweet, friendly cat. She's so sweet. Daisy came to us through our investigations department, and that's because Daisy was dumped. Someone unfortunately dumped Daisy. Our investigators found her and brought her in, and now she's with us and she's available for adoption, and she's just to make a wonderful, wonderful family pet. So please consider coming on down to our adoption center and meeting with Daisy and all the other animals we have available for adoption. So I can see in the background here that Jackie, one of our wonderful nursery team members, is feeding one of our kittens here. What an adorable kitten. This kitten is Corbin. Look how cute. Corbin, look at his ears twitch. Corbin is getting a nice little meal of kitten milk replacer.
They eat fast.
Oh my goodness. That's wonderful.
So what's all the supplies that she has here?
So what we've got here is all of the supplies that we need to make sure that we can provide proper nutrition and care for these kittens 24 hours a day. Again, this is kitten season. Kittens are being born, and sometimes their mothers are not able to nurse them, or sometimes their mothers may succumb to tragedy out in the world, in the community, and so these kittens are orphaned. So we have a setup here. The most important thing when we are trying to hand raise kittens is making sure that we have the proper nutrition. So we use a milk replacer called Kitten Milk Replacer, or KMR. So you can get this at a local pet store or grocery store. And there are instructions here on the back about how to reconstitute this powder into the appropriate formula that we see here that can then be bottle fed or syringe fed to orphan kittens. So what we use is a combination of a syringe and a little nipple that we put on the end of the syringe here. So what this is this allows us to feed a proper amount. So these syringes have gradations on them to help us determine how much we are administering to each kitten. So it helps us to be able to tell exactly how many milliliters of milk that they are receiving. And it allows us to control a little bit better. Because it's a syringe, it allows us to control a little bit better how much milk the kittens are receiving. So as we press the plunger, the milk comes out, as you saw Jackie do. And the difference is when we're using a bottle, the nipple of the bottle, sometimes too much milk comes out at a time, and kittens can sometimes choke on the milk. And so this syringe allows us to just give a little bit at a time so that they don't cough or choke on the milk.
And it's kind of good to determine, how much they're eating, so that if they're not eating too well and if they're gaining weight, we cannot see that.
That's exactly right. So you may wonder, how much do you feed them and how often do you feed them? And that really does depend on their age and their weight. So the younger they are, the more frequently kittens need to be fed. And that can be about every 2 to 3 hours when they're really young. And then we gradually increase the length of time between feedings. So they're only eating every 4 to 6 hours, and then maybe every 8 hours. And so they start off here. Getting fed every 2 to 3 hours, and then they move up to being fed every 4 to 6 hours. When they're about 4 to 5 weeks old, we will start to transition them from milk to solid food, to a little bit more solid food. So these guys
so
are
this one's about close. To get ready.
Yeah, these guys are close. I mean, Corbin's getting big there, so he's about ready. This little baby, this little baby's so cute.
So like, how many weeks are these little guys?
These little guys are about 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks old.
Okay, so they're
Corbin is a little bit bigger. He's probably closer to 4 weeks.
And so they graduated about the 5-week mark from here?
Yes, when they are on solid foods, then they've sort of graduated from having to be syringe fed and bottle fed. And so we move them to our other kitten nursery room, where the kittens are a little bit older. They can regulate their body temperature. They don't have to be in these incubators. These incubators are temperature controlled and humidity controlled, and that allows very, very young kittens to stay warm, because we want them to always be warm, especially while they are still syringe feeding or bottle feeding. When they try to eat, if their body temperature is too low, sometimes that can make them sick. So these are temperature and humidity controlled. Now, when we feel like they are old enough and strong enough, we will move them to our second kitten nursery room, where the kittens are older, and that's where they'll be on solid food, and they graduate and they can go on to foster homes. But they can even be fostered at this age. If any of you out there have hand-raised kittens or are interested in learning how to hand-raise kittens, these guys can also go into foster home and be taken care of in foster home.
And that's a great question. If somebody wants to foster, it can be very intimidating, never knowing how to, feed a baby kitten. Are there classes or something? Like, how do I become part of this team?
There's lots of information out there about how to properly hand raise kittens if you're interested in doing that. If you'd like to help us here at the Houston SPCA save more of these kitten lives, you certainly can opt to foster and volunteer and help us. We have training materials that we can give you, including videos. We will provide all of the supplies, including the syringes and the nipples and the kitten milk replacer. So we are able to provide you with everything you need to get started, including veterinary support for the kittens. So don't be shy about it, particularly if you have help at home, and you guys can sort of share the duties in the feeding, because it does take some time and dedication. This might be something that you're interested in doing. We can help you make sure that we do it well together.
And can we volunteer here specifically so we can have the support from the staff directly inside the nursery?
We can always use help here. Please visit our website at houstonspca.org and click on the tab that says Ways to Give, because you can become a volunteer. And even if you are not wanting to bottle feed, because sometimes it's intimidating to bottle feed or syringe feed kittens, you're wondering if you're going to do it right. There's so many ways that you can support the team here. One of the ways that you can support the team here is helping with cleaning. Mm-hmm. Anybody can do that. We need people to help clean the kittens because we want to make sure that they stay sanitary. It helps prevent disease. We can also use people to help do laundry and do dishes, like wash the bottles and the nipples and the syringes. So there's so much that you can do to support this team that's working 24 hours a day, even if you may not feel quite comfortable enough to do the syringe feeding and bottle feeding yourself.
And then what are the items that we see on these tanks?
Yeah, so to make sure that we, again, I saw that leak. That was fun. So at the top of every incubator, each kitten has kind of their own supplies that we can make sure that, again, we are preventing disease spread. So there's a black apron here that the team wears while they're handling the kittens so that they can keep themselves clean, because again, they're going from incubator to incubator handling kittens. We want to make sure that they're protecting their clothes and not spreading disease. You will notice that the team wears gloves whenever they handle the kittens. Again, a way to spread disease. And each kitten has his or her own little towel there so that when they are feeding, they can lay on their own towel. And this is for them. And those get changed out and washed every day. Again, we want to prevent disease spread here in the kitten nursery because we want all of these guys to do well and to find homes.
And then so you mentioned a little bit, like, how do these animals come here, or what do we do if we find, some kittens?
Yeah, so let's say you're going on a walk and maybe you find a litter of kittens out in a park or somewhere out on the road. It can be really scary because you don't know if they're by themselves or if they have their mom or what. And so what you may want to do is, if possible, keep an eye on them for a couple of hours, for maybe 2 to 3 hours. See if their mom comes back to retrieve them and to nurse them. Sometimes the mother will leave temporarily to go find food, and then they'll come back and nurse. So you want to make sure that they truly are orphaned or abandoned somewhere, and not just take them right away. So if you can give it a couple hours, if no mother comes back, then that could be a clue that they are orphaned or abandoned and they may need help. So then the next step will be that you want to get a basket or box, line it with some comfortable soft towels that are warm, and then you can put those kittens in the box. If you have decided that you want to be what we like to call kitten warriors, and one of those people who wants to hand raise kittens yourself, you can still reach out to us. We can put you in contact with our foster team. They can give you some training methods on how to hand raise kittens, and they can even provide some support there. So you can do this at home. Otherwise, we are certainly here, and we can take kittens into our 24-hour nursery if they need us. So if you find some kittens, make sure that they actually are orphaned or abandoned before you bring them in, because their mother's milk is always the best. Being with mom is always the best thing for them. So if we can make that happen, we'd like to do that.
And then when do these babies get vaccinated or up for adoption?
Yes, absolutely. So they go for adoption at about 8 weeks old. So at about 8 weeks old, they will be ready for adoption. They will have been spayed and neutered and healthy. So you can keep an eye on our website. Kitten season starts around March and goes all the way through about August. And so that whole period of time during the spring and summer, we are, having kittens be born and graduate from the kitten nursery and then go up for adoption. So we always have an abundance of kittens during this time. So please, if you're interested in adopting, you can always visit our website or come to our adoption center and see if you can find a kitten that fits your family.
And behind our scenes here, we can see a lot of cleaning going on. So there's a lot of supplies that we go through. Is there, a place we can? Do you always need donations or things? How can we help?
Yes, you can also help again. Even if it's not your time, you can also help by giving supplies. We can always use newspaper. So the incubators and the banks, the housing enclosures that we keep the cats in, we always line them with newspaper and soft puppy pads and pillowcases, blankets. All of these things can help keep those kittens clean and warm. So we can always use those donations. We can always use donations of kitten milk. That's constant. We do a lot of cleaning. We use Rescue. Rescue is a type of antimicrobial cleaning, and so it really helps to prevent bacteria and viruses from building up. So we use that. We have syringes and nipples. And we even stimulate these kittens to release their waste. So like urine and fecal material, just like the mother would do, lick their rear ends. Well, we mimic that by taking warm baby wipes, like you can see here in these containers. They're warm, so the kittens are not uncomfortable. And their little baby wipes here. We use the Pampers Sensitive Skin baby wipe, and we stimulate their rear end so that they can urinate and defecate, and mimics the mother's tongue. And so that is something that you can purchase to help donate to the kitten nursery as well. So lots of supplies here. They're working very, very hard. We're so proud of this team. We have a total of 67 kittens right now in our care. And that's not all. That's in our care right now. We have more than 100 who have come through in the last couple of weeks. So we just really appreciate everybody's support. These guys are doing great.
Oh my goodness. See how cute they are. Hi, Lulu. And I mean, the youngest you probably get here are probably just days old, I'm sure.
Yes, sometimes we get days old kittens, and sometimes we get them, a couple of weeks old. So it just sort of ranges, but absolutely, we're going to get a variety of kittens in, and we're going to do the best that we can to find homes for them.
And what are the different like tips, or how do we tell how old they are? Like by their eyes opening or little things of their character?
Yes, absolutely. So, if they're just days old, oftentimes they'll have the umbilical cord still attached. And it may look dried out, may look like some tissue that's hanging from their umbilical that's dried out. Their eyes and ears will be closed until around day 10 to 14. And so around 10 days or so, their eyes and ears will be opened up. And so then we say they're probably 10 days to 2 weeks old when those eyes and ears open up. And then as they age, their eyes just become more of a distinct color. Usually when they're very young, their eyes will be gray. They'll all be gray. But as they get older, their eyes will turn their permanent color. Their ears will be more erect and they'll be less laying flat. And so that's how we can sort of tell, usually by the eyes and the ears and the size.
I'm going to move over here. There's a little bit more of kittens, different variety of sizes, like you were saying.
We usually gain about a pound a month. So, a 2-month-old kitten is about 2 pounds. So that's a good way to tell, too, the healthy weight that they are.
This is Milo.
There's some really, really cute ones in here.
And you mentioned, obviously, the best protection is from their mom, but if they don't have their moms, they can be susceptible to some diseases. Can you talk a little bit about that and why it's so important to vaccinate mom and keep mom together?
Yeah, absolutely. So mothers usually will have some natural immunity because mothers, they're adults, they've been outside, they've been exposed to disease, and so their body has built up immunity to diseases. So when they give birth to their kittens and the kittens nurse, then the kittens will get some of that immunity as well through colostrum, through that first milk that they get from the mom. And they can continue to get a lot of nutrients from the mom for several weeks and months. And so that's very important. If they can get nursing from the mom, then that's going to be the best way, because mom is also going to teach them kitten habits. Mom is also going to teach them proper behavior and how to be a kitten. And so they're going to learn a lot from mom. It's best for their socialization to be around other cats and mom as well. So that's always the best option. If they can't be around mom, then certainly, again, we will start vaccinating them and making sure that they are free of disease. So those guys are really, really adorable. You can see those little 3 there together, Aqua and Bay and Fish. These guys are really young. They're probably really small. They're probably right at 2 weeks. You can see how small the eyes are there and how the ears are still a little bit flat. They're not quite as erect as what you saw in Corbin and Lilu earlier. So these guys are much younger.
This one might be even younger as well.
Oh, yes, this is a tiny one. See how flat the ears are. They're very flat. They're not quite erect yet, not all the way open. So this is definitely closer to a 2-week-old kitten. Yeah.
And of course, kittens are so adorable, but the reason why we have this nursery is because a lot of them are orphan and we have too many, pets here in Houston.
Yeah, we do. And so, we always want to encourage people to spay and neuter their cats. There's so many services out there to provide spay and neuter. So we encourage that so that, we don't have so many orphan kittens. We also take in orphan puppies here too. So if there are orphaned puppies that still need to be bottle fed, sometimes people will bring those to us as well. But we encourage people to keep them, to consider bottle feeding and hand raising them yourselves. And we are here for your support if you need us. Well, we thank you for coming today with us for this kind of background view of what we do here at the Houston SPCA. And during kitten season, our kitten nursery, it's very busy here. It's just going to get busier throughout the summer. So we thank you for your support in any way. If that's fostering, if that's hand raising some kittens yourself, or if that's donating some kitten supplies so we can continue to do what we do. We thank you so much for joining us as always. And come on down this weekend to our adoption center. We're always looking for people to come look at our pets and consider adopting one of our pets and just hanging out with us. So We love Daisy there. Daisy is so sweet and she needs some attention. She's just waiting for a wonderful family. So we thank you for joining us. We will see you next week here on the Pet Podcast. Thank you.